Help me, Dad. As well. That's why I get stuck from the, nothing. Sorry, this is fire. I don't want to use my food.
This property was 100% going to be in my family for generations to come. And they are ripping this away from my family. On August 17th, 2022, my husband and I bought 362 Ogle Drive in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We bought this property strictly as an investment property for our family. Even the mortgage states that this is an investment property. We bought this as a generational property that would remain in our family, and that it was the beginning of leaving our legacy. My husband and I, when we bought this property, we immediately went to work. We started working on this property straight from the jump. We continued to work on this property for 7 months. 7 months of commuting back and forth. We live in Ohio, and so we were making that trip back and forth from Ohio to Tennessee. Completely remodeled this house. New floors, paint, cabinets, counters, bathtubs, toilets, sinks, new metal roof, deck. We completely remodeled this home. In March, on March 6th, we had just put the last nail in the deck for our hot tub. And when I'm telling you it was the last nail, it was the last nail in the deck. When the neighbor motioned for my husband to come over to the fence line, he went over and she started to talk to him. And she looked him in the eye and she said, "You guys don't know, do you?" And my husband at that time, yeah, obviously he said, "No what?" And she started to tell him that our house was coming down. Our house was completely being demolished for the road to come through, as we know now, the Westside Connector. So we immediately went over to City Hall. When we got there, we spoke with Eric Brackens. That was the first time that I'd ever heard the name Eric Brackens. And Eric Brackens at the time confirmed to us that yes, the Westside Connector was, was a project, the road was coming through, and indeed, our house was coming down. Our house was going to be completely destroyed for the road to completely go on top of our house. Now, so that was March 6th. March 7th, I had a conversation with Mayor Wares. Mayor Wares had called me, and at that time, he and I had talked, and he told me that, his house sits above our property. And at that time, he told me that he felt terrible. He watched us all those months working on our house, and that he felt terrible for us watching us, and asked at that time if he would have called us, would it have made a difference? And my response was, of course it would have made a difference. We spent 7 months of our life pouring into this property of what was going to be our family's legacy. My husband and I called a meeting with the City Hall. March 22nd, we had our meeting with them. At that time, Miss Teester, that was the first that she was hearing about what had happened. Again, she felt terrible. She had been out, and she truly felt terrible for us. And at that time, at that meeting, we were asking, why did the road move? Why did the road move? Because the road was coming through the campground, which connects to our property. We wanted to know, we wanted answers. Why did the road abruptly move to come through our home and not through the campground that had not been developed at that time? In that conversation and in that meeting, Eric Brackens and Mr. Mize let us know before we bought it, they saw the for sale sign, and they had questioned, why was this house being sold, knowing the Westside Connector was coming in and our house was going to be demolished? Why did our house get put up for sale? Why was our house not flagged? That is the question that I can't get an answer to, even to this day. Why was our house not flagged with the city of Pigeon Forge to not be sold, knowing that the Westside Connector was going to completely come on top of our house? The house should have never been sold. When we go to City Hall, talk to Eric Brackens, he indeed confirmed to us that our house was coming down. He left us with this: negotiations will be starting any day. So we're not only were we trying to digest that our house is being demolished, but negotiation was starting any day. So that was March 6th. March 22nd, the meeting. April, so we're still just trying to gather. We're going back through all the minutes from 2009, 2010, during all of this time. And on April, so the beginning of April, I spoke again with Eric Brackens. Again, just to confirm, we're going to be hearing something from Ed Crook and Company. That's our negotiator. And he said, yes, we're supposed to be hearing something any day. On April 28th, we still hadn't heard anything. So I call Mr. Brackens again. Mr. Brackens, we haven't heard anything. He said, I would like to tell you that you're going to hear something within the next 2 weeks, but let's just be safe and say by the end of May, you will have heard something from Ed Crook and Company. I said, okay. May came, nothing. We hadn't heard anything. We were all the way at the end of June. I called Mr. Brackens again. Mr. Brackens, we haven't heard anything. This property is costing us $3,000 a month. We can't rent it because, again, any day we're supposed to hear from our negotiators, and any property management company wants a contract. And based on the integrity of who I am and my husband, we are people of integrity. We're not just going to sign a contract knowing that any day we're going to hear like any day they're going to reach out to us. Any day we're going to hear word. And we felt morally that was not right of us to sign a contract knowing that we're going to lose our home. So morally, on the aspect of it from us on a moral level, we couldn't do it. Any day turned into actually 207 days. 207 days of stress, 270 days of complete, utter worry. Here we are carrying the financial burden of this home. That was an investment property that was supposed to be generating income, that was supposed to be making us money. And in return, it actually drained our savings because we had to pay $3,000 a month. And we were getting nothing because we could not get it in a rental company. Again, because we are people of integrity. We were not going to sign something knowing what we knew. Our first offer came a week ago today. The offer was a complete ridiculous offer. They never took in consideration that this home was an investment property for our family. They never took the consideration that this home is 60 seconds from Parkway, that this home is zoned commercial. That is why we bought this property. We know that David Taylor has been on record stating that 2023, that the city of Pigeon Forge needs an increase of 15% nightly rentals to keep up with the growth. We know that the city of Pigeon Forge has been on record since 2020 of growing exponentially to the point that they can't keep up. We know this. That is why we bought this property. It was an investment property for years to come. Now, our house is coming down. Our house is being taken from a road that was coming through, that was initially coming through the campground. The campground that was not developed. I want to stress that the campground was not developed. The community didn't want this campground. That is on record as well. The community did not want this campground. because of RVs coming through down Ogle Drive, coming down through there. So this campground was not developed when the road was initially coming through there. It wasn't developed. And I'm still asking the question, why did the road abruptly get moved over to take out our property? Maybe I'll get the answer. Maybe I will get the answer. Why did our road get moved?